I have never seen anybody graduate into glory that didn't go through the classroom of suffering. There is none. There is none. Anybody that tells you he never suffered for believing in God and working with God along the way is a scam. Elvis says the person is a scam. There should come a time in your life you don't know why and what is really happening to you. And there is no explanation to it. You simply can't understand. And you have applied every truth in the Bible.
Wow.
And it's not working. There should come that time.
Wow.
There should come that time that even the Son of God will be confused and say, my Father, why have you forsaken me? When he knows the Father does not forsake, there should come that time. If you don't have that time in the school of the Spirit to show, you are a scammer. How you got into glory without any scar, we will have to cross-check again. There should come a time that the very thing that you are a blessing to, you'll be in need of. The very thing you are a blessing to in the lives of others, you will be in need of it. And whatever is happening to you may not make sense. But that's the sign. That's the sign that you are on the way to glory. So looking unto Jesus, the author and the finisher of your faith, who for the joy that was set before him, despised the cross, bear the cross, despised the shame. Despised the shame. It is endurance and the despising of the shame. It's endurance and the despising of the shame. It's endurance and the despising of the shame. Because everybody that will ever taste of glory, there will be a shameful moment. There will be a suffering moment. No, but the Bible says if you suffer together with Christ, you'll be glorified together with him. It is a false doctrine when you are told that suffering is not of God. It's a false doctrine. Everybody you read from in Bible has a classroom they entered. Only that you won't last all your life there.
Okay.
It is for a short moment. It is for a short moment. That's what Apostle Paul says. That this suffering is for a short moment. But it cannot be compared to the glory that shall be revealed. Oh, that seed, you have to sow it. Unfortunately, my generation has not been taught that suffering is a sign. In this kingdom, suffering is a sign. But it's not a sign for distraction. It is the sign for trust. It is a sign that God is testing your pulse, your strength, your power. He may not be the one tempting you, but he's the one marking you. He's the one marking you. I made this statement that I'm not afraid. That anybody that says that suffering is not part of the New Testament is a false teacher promoting a false doctrine. Jesus would look at Paul eyeball to eyeball and tell him that I'll show you many things that you will suffer for me. He told his apostles, they will persecute you. You will go through challenges for my name's sake. The good news is that if suffering is for his name's sake, then glory is a reward. If suffering is out of your sin, then death is your reward. But if suffering is for his name's sake, then glory is the reward. There is an unschooled generation that this is what is happening. They go through a little challenge and they have not been schooled to understand that it is the green light that you are about to be qualified and graduated into glory. That is the point they stop praying. That's the point they give up on God. That's the point they shut the door of their faith. That's the point many people have turned to atheists. because they didn't understand the blessedness of suffering. They didn't understand. So to them, everybody interprets suffering as rejection from God. And there are many people listening to me right now. They have already interpreted it. So they are even online praying, but their soul is departed. Their spirit is not part. They are gone. Their souls are departed. It is only their bodies exercising things, but their spirit are not part. They can't see. They can't see that suffering is a sign that glory is coming. If you are going through any challenge on this altar right now, I came to announce to you, congratulations. It is a sign that you are a candidate. You have been enrolled. You have been enrolled into glory. Glory. That is why everybody, I told you, that anybody that tells you that he's seeing glory and can't point a scar, a challenge, is a scammer. It's a total scam. It's a total scam. There should come a time that you were confused and didn't understand everything you were going through. And then the glory comes. That is where it begins to explain to you why your mother had to go and beg for you to eat. It was to build compassion for the needy. Why that? Why that? When the glory comes, you begin to sit down and say, I now understand. So glory only comes to bring explanations. But when you are in the suffering mood, you may never understand. A very spiritual student failing every exams, you may not understand. But when the glory finally comes, you'll get it. You'll get it. You'll get it. I am here to tell you that the class of suffering does not last forever. The duration in that class depends on you. Let me hit it here. The duration in the class of suffering depends on you. Because if you don't mature quickly, you'll be repeated. If you don't mature quickly, you'll be repeated. A Christian, a little suffering, you go and say, I'm discouraged. I was depressed. You repeat class. You repeat class. And many Christians have repeated several classes in the same class of suffering. They have not matured. And God does not rush people through. God, He builds people. He does not rush people through. So He builds you up. You can stay at one class for a long time. He'll build you up. But after you are built up, He will give you speed. But to rush you through it is a lie. He will never do that. He will never do that. So many people have chopped repetition in the classroom of suffering because they didn't understand that suffering does not mean throw your Bible away. They didn't understand that suffering does not mean stop speaking tongues. They didn't get it. That suffering does not mean insult God. God will never reject you if suffering makes you insult Him. No, He'll never cast you away. But you repeat class. If you attack God, if you curse God, you are a child. You are no more a servant. He can't throw away His child, but His child will repeat class. And God has that patience for your repetition. He has that patience. So if you keep on cursing Him, if you keep on attacking Him, He doesn't mind. If angels want to slap you, tell you, don't slap Him, but He must repeat class. Then you give, you have no idea how demons have been given so much job. And we have elongated their employment because many of us have repeated so much classes. There are some of you, your pain should have been just 3 years. But in the midst of the 3 years, you did things out of frustration. You went to a shrine. You went to that. God didn't reject you. But the class, you go repeat again. You repeat it again. So one of the seeds you should expect to sow is the seed of suffering. So look at yourself. If there is any suffering, point to it and say, so you are the prophecy to my glory. You are the prophecy to my God. You look at the suffering and say, so you are the prophecy to my soul. Because anybody that is bearing the name of God so strong and you are still poor, it's a prophecy of worthiness. If you are sick, it's a prophecy that you'll be a healer. Whatever you are going through, if only you are upright with God, it's a prophecy of a glory in the future. So you can look at everything, the seed that has been sown around your destiny, and you know this one, you are my prophecy. And pick up yourself, pick up the garment of joy, pick up the garment of praise, and begin to celebrate God. Thank you for all things. Thank you for all things. You sow the seed of thanksgiving in the seed of suffering. You sow the seed of thanksgiving in the seed of suffering. When things doesn't seem right, you begin to exalt Him. I can see the glory. I can see the glory.